Hello everyone, welcome to the channel. Today we are going to fly from Tirana to Athens. We are going to recreate a real-life flight operated by Wizz Malta, and this flight in real world is operated by the Airbus 321 Classic, but we will be using 321Neo by Anybuilds. We'll be using Flight Simulator 2024 and we will be flying on VATSIM, so please do not be surprised that you might hear some ATC transmission from time to time. So we are actually sitting in cockpit of our plane. As you can see, the plane is in a cold and dark conditions. Well, we all know that probably it's not something that it's not the way how the real life crew would find a plane in real life, but it's a sim, so we need to live with it. So first we are going to start with powering up our aircraft. So let's go to the overhead panel, turn on the batteries, and as you can see we have the external power available, so let's connect it. Okay, we see that the actually overhead lights are on, but I'm going to switch it off. It's going to be a flight operated during daytime. I'm expecting sunny weather, so I don't expect any reasons why we should actually be using the overhead lights. Let's turn on the crew supply and let's turn on the ground control as well and move up a little bit and turn on the IRSs. So number 1, number 2, and number 3. Okay. We can also do here the fire test in case we would like to start our APU. Works fine. And let's do the engine fire test. Works fine. And engine 1. Okay, it works fine. Let's set up the external lights, so strobe can go into auto position, beacon is off, wing lights is off, nav logo can go to the first position. We don't need the runway turn-off lights yet, landing lights can be off and nose lights can be off. We can arm the emergency exit light and turn on the non-smoking side. I will leave the seatbelt signs to in off position for the time being because the aircraft hasn't been refueled yet, and I'm expecting that the refuel might take place while our passengers will be boarding the aircraft, so we want to keep the seatbelt signs into off position. Okay, let's go down and let's actually download our flight plan that I have already checked with the sim brief. So this is downloaded. You know what, before actually going into preparing the flight plan, I would just make sure that we have the correct frequencies set. So as I said, we are going to be flying in VATSIM, but there is no online ATC available for Tirana, so we will be good with Unicom, and I will tune in the guard frequency for the COM2 as we will need it later on during our flight. Okay, let's keep it in a standby position, and transport code can stay at 2000, and we would like to actually be listening to intercom and a cabin as well. Okay, now we can download our flight plan. So Tirana, weather 140 at 6, more than 10,000 meters of visibility, fuel class 400, okay, and we have QNH of 1015, so let's set it 1015 once, 1015 twice, and we want to set it on a standby instrument as well, so we have 1015 here as well. Okay, I'm going to turn, like I said, I'm going to turn off the panel lights. I don't believe we are going to need them. Okay, and I'll probably dim a little bit the brightness of our displays. Okay, because I find them a little bit too bright. Okay, and so let's let's go ahead. Sorry, we'll bring up our EFB. So this is our flight plan for today. So flight number is Wizz Malta 5203, call sign Wizz Malta 9931, departure Tirana, arrival Athens. Our alternate is Sofia, so we expect a flight time of 1 hour and 3 minutes. And the departure, 3 p.m. UTC. Okay, cruising altitude 370, cruise index 5, and we expect to have 190 passengers on board with 7 tons of cargo. Well, that's a lot of cargo, but let's leave it as it is. I don't really expect that in real life this flight would hold this amount of cargo, but we can keep it as it is. Okay. So let's start with preparation of, okay, so we can make a request here. I'm going to change the flight number to our call sign, so Whiskey Mike Tango 9931. Okay, cost index is flight level 375, this is okay. Let's go here. So our zero fuel weight for today's flight is 68.5, so 68.5 tons. So we can insert it here. I don't know yet our zero fuel weight center of gravity, so I will just insert 30. And we'll update it later once we are going to actually board our plane and load our flight. Okay. Block fuel 6,700 kilograms. Let's actually view the. No, I don't want to. Okay, this is what I wanted to do. Okay, so let's go down a little bit. So our zero fuel weight 68.5. This is correct. And our block fuel is going to be 6,700 kilograms, so we can make it 6.8. Okay, alternate fuel. That's a lot of fuel for alternate. Actually, as you can see, I'm not really sure why SimBrief has proposed this time Sofia as our alternate, because as you can see, it's actually even farther away. Then it will take more fuel to fly to Sofia, as the whole trip from Tirana to Athens. So with this amount of fuel, we could just go back to Tirana, or I believe there are plenty of other options available as well. But we are going to leave it as it is because it will give us a lot of extra fuel in case we'll need to divert. And once we'll be airborne, the Sofia is just going to be the plan. It doesn't mean that we need to commit to Sofia as our alternate. We'll check the hour. In case we'll need to divert to alternate airport, we'll just check our options there. So alternate is 2.6. Final reserve fuel. So we are going to need 2.6. This is plus our final reserve. So sorry, final reserve is 1.0. Okay, so our destination fuel, it's 2.6 plus 1 ton, which it makes 3.6. It's okay. Okay, trip wind. So tailwind, wind component 35, so we can insert it here as well. Africa position type, that's interesting. Okay, so navigation accuracy, okay. So I assume the ILS is zero fuel weight. Disagree, that's okay, because we haven't set the payload yet, so that's why we have this communication. I think we can now just ask the GSX to start boarding the passengers.
Boarding requested.
And let's check the status of our plane. Okay. And yeah, it's okay. I think the passengers will be okay. We can deselect it. Okay. Now what I want to do, let's go for the flight plan, and as per our route, so it's supposed to be somewhere. Okay, so our route, we are going to be departing for Elefthérios to Romeo, runway 17. So departure runway 17 and to Romeo, that's okay. And we will be arriving via Picat 1 Whiskey, and we expect ILS 21 right, if I remember correctly. So I will bring up the charts in a minute, so we'll cross-check. ILS X-ray 21 right, and I know that it's going to be Picat 1 Whiskey. Picat 1 Whiskey, and the VIA is going to be Kilo Echo Alpha, but we'll cross-check that with a chart in a few minutes. Okay, our flight plan is actually already filled in, so let's just double check that our departure. So let's check the weather once again to make sure that we'll be. So the weather is let's update the weather. Yes, weather is 140 at 6, so runway 17 for departure will be okay. And weather at Athens variable 2 knots, so any runway will do, but I actually checked it on the flight radar and I saw that they are using 2-1 right for arrivals and 2-1 left for departure, so we are going to select it. Okay, let's go back, bring up the EFB and open our charts for our today's flight. I'm going to unload the flight and just import the latest flight because I believe I've made some changes to it. You can hide it. Let's open the departure route. Okay, so straight ahead, Tango India 506, and there is a restrictions of 3,000 feet or above, and we have 3,000 feet or above. This is set, and then LBAC, and we have flight level 120 or above, and flight level 120 or above. Okay, so our standard instrument departure is there. I don't see really transition altitude 10,000, and so I believe since there is a flight level restrictions of 120, I will set some rather high initial altitude of 130, flight level 130. Okay, let's leave it as it is. Let's go back to our flight plan and check our arrival. Picat, Kilo, Oscar Romeo, Delta, Delta Mike, and Kilo Echo Alpha. That is correct. And let's open the ILS. So we have selected ILS X-ray. Obviously, it's going to depend if there will be any online ITC, and the online ITC, then we'll see what we are going to get. But for now, I'm just going to select ILS X-ray as our arrival. From Kilo Echo Alpha, which was here, we are going to proceed to Alpha Victor 556, 55, 564, 562, all the way to 561. I'm going to zoom in 562, 561, 560,
passengers bus is
and
coming.
522, 521. Okay. And misapproach, but we are going to actually check it later during the flight. Okay, now I think it will be a good idea to actually make the preparations also for engine out situation. So as I can see, the engine out SID for runway 17 in Tirana is track 169 to 2 DME from Tango Romeo November. So let's go to there. We have Tango Romeo November, it's okay. And we will, so let's start. Secondary flight plan, copy active, okay. So track 169 to 2DME, Tango Romeo November. Let's check the charts for the airport and see where exactly Tango Romeo November is located. Okay, it's VOR. So it's located here, so like almost at the airport. So we can assume that actually 2 DME distance, 2 nautical miles distance from Tango Romeo November will be actually 2 nautical miles distance from the runway. So this is what I'm going to set as our first waypoint. So let's see, we have some waypoints stored, so let's delete all the waypoints. Okay, first one is going to be I want to create the first waypoint. Sorry, so I want to create actually 2 waypoints. First one is going to be standard center line for runway 17, 2 nautical miles. So Tango India Alpha 17 and 2. So okay, you know what, let's make it Tango India Alpha 2. Okay, so place, it's going to be Tirana. It's going to be Tirana. So Lima Alpha Tango India. Sorry. I need to do it. Okay, I need to do it once again. Sorry for it. Okay, so it will be Lima Alpha Tango India, runway 17, of a bearing of 169 and 2 nautical miles. And store. So the engine out SID for Tirana for runway 17 is 2 nautical miles straight ahead on the runway heading, then track 305, so it's going to be right hand turn, and we need to intercept the radial 330 for Tango Romeo November and proceed to 15 DME on a radial 330. So the second waypoint is going to be, I'm going to name it. So I want to add a second waypoint. I'm going to name it actually Tango Romeo November 15. Okay, place bearing distance. So it's going to be Tango Romeo November bearing. So radial 330 and distance 15 nautical miles. That is strange. What it's, I don't really understand. Okay, store waypoints, create new waypoint. So place Tango Romeo November /330 /15. Okay. Okay. Store. So let's go to our secondary flight plan. And no, let's go to the data because I don't remember the name of the waypoints. Store waypoints. Tirana 2 and Tango Romeo November 15. Okay, so secondary flight plan. So Tirana 2 Okay, Tango Romeo November 15. Okay, we are going to hold there. Okay, and after the holding, we can return to Tirana for ILS 17, no stars, no one. Okay, insert. Let's close it and let's see that it actually works. Okay, so straight ahead, do then, yeah, and then we can go back. Okay, looks quite okay to me. We just can delete the flight plan discontinuity. Yeah, so this is okay. So let's bring up the chart. Let's check our SID. So Tango Romeo November is located at the airport in a radial 330. Yeah, so the idea here with the engine out SID is just to make sure that we are going to turn away from the terrain, because as you can see there is quite significant terrain on to the east of the airport with the MSA of 9,400 feet, which is rather high. So the whole idea here is actually to make sure that we will fly towards the sea and hold there. Okay, so we can now, I think, use the payload option. So let's download the payload, okay, and I'm going to apply the load. I'm going to do the instant load. I mean, we have used the GSX to board our passengers, so let's not spend much more time for it. And now we can see that our zero fuel weight center of gravity is 32.2. So I'm going to update our initial data as well. So 32.2. Okay, let's cross-check. Zero fuel weight of 68.5 and block fuel of 6.8. So block fuel is 6.8, 68.5. Okay, this data are correct. So we can calculate our departure performance. So we have runway 17, full length for departure. Runway is dry, wind, yes, and 105. Okay, let's. I think we'll be using standard config 1 departure. Pax will be off, anti-ice is off. It's 15 degrees outside, no precipitation, so no anti-ice required. Calculate. Second segment runway. Okay. So flex temperature 50. So let's send the data. Okay. Confirm. I just want to verify two more things. So thrust reduction altitude it's okay, and acceleration altitude is okay, but the engine out acceleration for runway 17 is 1,700 feet. So let's put it here. Okay, I think we are almost ready to go. So we can turn on the flight directors because the IRS is already online. Okay, and I'm going to switch on the APU as we will need it to start our engines, and probably to warm up a little bit our cabin. Yeah, 14 degrees in the cabin. I don't believe the passengers are really comfortable over there. So let's start on the APU. Okay. Let's double check that we have correct frequencies set. So no, we don't. So we wanted to have 122.8 for Unicom, as there was nothing has changed here. There is no ATC available, so Unicom should be fine. Okay, The APU is starting. As soon as the APU will start, we will disconnect the external power, make the departure briefing, and prepare for pushback. Before I'm going to do it, now I think it's the highest time to actually start the cockpit preparation checklist. So, and since we also have refueled the aircraft, we can turn on the seatbelt signs to on, and now we can start with the checklist. So, cockpit preparation, gear pins and covers, they were removed. You haven't seen a video, but I did remove the covers and during the walk around. Fuel quantity is 6,700 kilograms. It's exactly as our flight plan. It's okay. Seatbelt signs are on. ADIRs are enough, and bar ref is 1015, 1015, 1015. Let's just cross-check that this is in fact what we 1015. Okay, so this is the cockpit preparation checklist completed. We have the APU up and running, so let's turn the APU bleed on. Let's turn the external. Let's turn off the external power and prepare and make the departure briefing. So let's bring back the chart. Okay, so left seat takeoff. We expect fairly short taxi, so pushback from the stand and pushback to the right hand side. So we are facing west now, so pushback is going to be facing north. Short taxi via Whiskey and Foxtrot to runway 17. And then departure runway 17, full length departure. And SID takes us straight ahead, then turn left towards LPAC. In case of engine failure, 2 nautical miles to Tango Romeo November. Let's make sure that we'll be actually have. Okay, so we have the distance from Tango Romeo November, so we'll just like follow along the extended runway central line, and at 2 nautical miles of Tango Romeo November, we are supposed to turn right for a heading of 305 and intercept the radial for 330 from Tango Romeo November. In terms of threats today, terrain is a threat, so we have significant terrain east to the airport. The MSA is 9,400 feet, so we need to make sure that in case of engine failure, we will head west toward the sea and stay there. Okay, nothing more from my side. Actually, sorry, no, there's one more thing. Let's bring back our operational flight plan. So our estimated takeoff weight is 75 tons, which is below maximum takeoff weight. Estimated landing weight is so takeoff weight is 75 tons, which is below our maximum landing weight. So we are okay for immediate return. Any questions, comments, or concerns? Not today. Okay, I know it wasn't probably the briefing as perfect as a real world pilot would do. I'm not a real world pilot myself. I mean, I have some real flying experience, but only on a small general aviation planes. So there is like less factors that you need to consider for a departure briefing. Okay, with that out of the way, I think we can close our doors. So let's ask GSX to prepare for pushback and departure, and prepare for push and departure. Okay, waiting. We need to dismiss the GPU, so let's do it. Let's go to our ground. Let's disconnect. So let's close the. Okay, doors are closing. Perfect.
Locking gear.
Okay. I'm not sure why I'm getting all the stutters today, but yeah, it is what it is, so I'm not going to complain. So let's go. Let's wait for the pushback tag to be connected, and then we'll do the before start checklist. So we want to be facing north. Yes. Okay.
Release parking brakes, please.
All right. So we are ready for pushback. Let's turn on the fuel pumps. Okay. Turn on the
Release parking
beacon.
brakes, please.
Yes, I will do it in a minute. Just give me some time, please.
Release parking brakes, please.
So before start checklist, parking brake is still set. Takeoff speed and thrust are
Release parking
set.
brakes, please.
And windows are closed and beacon is on. Okay. Let's check that we don't
brakes,
have.
Please.
Okay, there are no other aircrafts. Let's just check there is no ATC online. No. Okay, so we can release the parking brakes and start the pushback.
Commencing push.
I'm
All
going
engines
to
clear. Start at will.
turn on my Tobii eye tracker now, so it will be a little bit easier for me to look around the cockpit. I actually find it quite useful for like taxi, departure and landing. Not really useful for the preparation of the flight, as you know, it tracks also your eye movements. And when doing the preparation for flight, you like actually move around your eyes a lot. So then it gives you a really strange result with your point of view. Okay, we have crossed the red line, so we are good to start the engine. So starting engine, 2 lovely starters again. Okay, and 2.
Please set parking brakes.
Okay, parking brakes are set.
Gear.
Okay, starting engine 1 and 2.
Tow truck disconnected. Bypass pin removed. Left is clear. Right is clear.
Yeah, let's wave to the ground agent. Okay, engine 2 started. Okay, the guy has just left. Alright, from the top, we can turn off the APU bleed. We don't need the engine anti-ice. We can turn off the APU master switch. And we want to have config 1 plus F. and down 02. So yes, somewhere over here. Okay. Frequency is set. We can actually turn on the predicted windshield warning and turn on the transponder for taxi. Okay. Alright, and we can turn off the ignition. So, we are ready for the after start checklist. So, anti-ice off, ECAM status checked, pitch trim 31% set, and rudder trim is neutral. Okay, so we are ready to taxi. So let's turn on the runway turn off lights on and taxi lights on. Okay. We are clear on the left and we are clear on the right. I'm not really sure why I get all the stutters today, but okay, I'm going to switch off the TOBI tracker for the time being. I mean, it doesn't really look useful. There's one thing I can do is just like go back and make it's usually okay. It didn't help a lot, but okay. So let's. So we have speed brakes arm. We have auto brakes to max, and we are ready taxi. Parking brake. Okay. Apply a little bit of thrust and yes. Okay. So let's do the brake check. Okay. Pressure 0. Yeah. And let's do the flight controls check. So full up, full down, full left, full right, neutral. Let's check the rudder. So full left, full right. I thought we are going to disconnect it. I probably need to check my configuration later on in the USB. So flight controls check complete. Let's check the takeoff config. Okay, so this is okay. So we can make the taxi checklist. I want to open, okay, taxi checklist. Flight controls checked. Flap setting config 1 plus F. Radar and predicted windshield on and auto. Engine mode selector is normal and ECAM memo, let's takeoff, no blue. So taxi checklist completed. The cabin is ready, so we are ready to go. I have my iPad open. I'm tracking the VASIM traffic there, so I see there is really no traffic around Tirana, so I'm not going to make any announcement. It does make no sense actually. It just does make no sense because we are alone. Okay, I need to slow down a little bit because we are taxiing really fast. Okay. Huh. That was not the best. I mean, I didn't want to slow down to 0. I just want to slow down a little bit. It seems I need to tweak a little bit my brake sensitivity. Well, probably this scenario is not 100% accurate, but okay. Or maybe it is. I don't really know how the real world Tirana looks like, but I would expect to have some runway center line. Actually, sorry, taxiway center line. But it is what it is. We're not going to complain. Okay, so approach. It's okay. I'm going to turn on the TOBI tracker once again and reset the point of view. Okay. So clear on the approach. We can turn on the strobe lights. can turn on the taxi lights, and we can, and yeah, this is one thing we forgot to do, turn on the clock. Okay, and turn on the, okay, and once we are going to align with the runway center line, I'm going to make the lineup checklist, switch off the packs. Let's slow down a little bit more. Okay, let's try to turn off the packs while we are turning. All right. Okay, let's. So every time I'm going to look at my tablet then or iPad, it's probably strange for you because you see that I'm changing my point of view. Okay, so lineup, takeoff runway 17 confirmed, TCAS it's still in a standby, so let's just hold here. We need to turn on the TCAS as well. Okay, and so TCAS, TA, array, and PAX 1, 2 off. Okay, so we are ready for takeoff and takeoff. Let's advance the thrust levers a little bit. Okay, here we go. So flex 50 SRS runway nav blue, and engine thrust levers not set. Okay, they are set now. So I definitely need to work a little bit on the calibration of my thrust levers. 80 knots. B1 and rotate. Positive rate, gear up. Okay. Thrust lever to climb. And we can select the autopilot. Okay, let's flaps 0 speed check. Why the TCAS is still on standby? I was 100% sure I have turned it on. Okay, I will check it in a minute. No, it is on standby. I wanted to have it on a TA array. Okay. So, it's okay. Let's go back then on PAX 1 and to on, and we can turn off. No, I don't want to use the settings. Let's turn on the runway. Okay. So we are climbing nicely. Transition level was flight level 100, so actually 10,000 feet, so we still have temperature 14, so even though we are passing through the clouds, I think the engine anti-ice is not needed. I will switch off the top eye tracker now. Okay. I'm looking here at the total air temperature. It still keeps maintaining above 10 degrees Celsius, so I can leave the engine anti-ice off, but as soon as it will decrease to 10 degrees, I will turn on the engine anti-ice on. just to make sure that we are not going to get any icing. Okay, 10 degrees, so let's turn the engine anti-ice on as we are passing through some cloud layers. Okay. Approaching 10,000. So transition altitude, set standard, standard set, standard set. Let's switch off the landing lights and tune in the guard frequency. One, two, one, 5. Okay, okay, perfect. Okay, once again we are passing through the clouds. Let's leave the engine anti-ice off for a while. I'm still keeping the seatbelt signs on as we are passing through the clouds, and there might be some turbulence expected. As soon as we are going to be clear of the clouds, I will release the passengers. It's a fairly short flight. So flight level 130. What was our so our cruise flight level for is 370, so we can actually let's select it. And since we are flying on VATSIM and there is actually no one around us, we can just select already our final cruise level 370 for today. Yes, cruise is 370, optimal 370, and maximum, yeah. So I'm okay with a 370. Okay, I think it's the highest time to release our passengers. So we are above the clouds, and as you can see on our predicted flight path, there are no clouds, so we can probably switch off the seatbelt signs for the time being. Okay, thank you very much for watching. And I will get back to you just before top of descent. Welcome back. We are around 70 nautical miles from our top of descent, so it is the highest time to start our preparation for descent. So you have control, and let's check the weather. So update the weather. Okay, it's going to be okay. Wind is 260 at 6 knots. So runway 21 right for arrival. QNH 1016. Okay. Let's make sure that okay. So QNH is 1016. Perfect. Temperature is 18. And wind is 260 at 6. 260 at 6. And okay, let's open the chart. And okay, ILS X-ray. I'm going to check if there are no. It seems there are no chances for any online ATC, so I'm just going to pick up the ILS X-ray for runway 21 right, and the minimums are 558 feet, so 558 it is. Landing is full. Check destination data. Okay, transition altitude. We are going to have it here probably, so what? Yes. Okay, I'm just going to assume that 5,000 feet will be okay as a transition altitude, and let's check our arrival route. So we are going to be arriving by a PCAT, then Kilo Oscar Romeo at above 7,000 and PCAT at or above 7,000. Delta Delta Mike at or above 7,000 and Kilo Echo Alpha at or above 7,000. Next. So it's going to be quite interesting approach. I mean arrival and then positioning for the approach with the Athens visible of the left hand side. All right, Alpha Victor 566 and 4,000. It's set here, 4,000. Speed limit of 220, 3,000. Okay, 3,000 above and 5 to Alpha Whiskey 522 and 3,000. You know what, at this point I would probably like to make sure that I'm going to be already configured at a proper HA. So I'm going to make a exactly 3,000. Okay, looks okay. After arrival, so let's bring up the chart. So we are going to arrive runway 21 right, vacate via Alpha 6 or Alpha 5, then turn left into Alpha, right into the hotel, and I'm expecting parking here somewhere in South Apron today, so hotel, right to Golf and via Golf to parking somewhere here, over here. At least this is the place where the real flight has arrived today. So this is our plan. And in case of misapproach, we are going to climb on course 212 to Alpha Whiskey. So let's Alpha Whiskey 528, maximum 21 knots, and turn right to Echo Golf November and hold there, or expect hold there, and then expect vector, so we're set up there for another approach. In terms of fuel, so how we expect to have almost 4 tons of fuel, so it gives us plenty of time in case of diversion to alternate airport, or if we need to make a second approach. So we will so we are good to go. Okay, any questions, comments, or concern? Just No. Okay. So the top of descent, we're expecting our top of descent in 24 miles. So let's just dial in the new flight level. Let's make it flight level 200, but I'm not going to put the manage mode until we are going to be closer to our top of descent. I think we can scale it down a little bit. Yes, okay. Let's put the constraints on, as there are going to be plenty of constraints on our route. So let's just to increase our awareness. In terms of threats, terrain is actually a threat. So because there is a significant terrain on the right hand side of the airport, so we need to make sure that during the miss approach we are going to be we will be following the exact route, so straight ahead, and only when we'll pass Alpha Whiskey 528 we'll turn right to Echo Golf November. We should climb to 4,000 feet and the MSA is 5,200, so definitely, and the highest biggest 3,400, so definitely terrain is a threat here. There is also some terrain here on the left hand side, so we need to make sure that we are following the exact miss approach route. Other than that, I don't see anything else. I think we can set auto brakes low, and yeah, 11 miles to our top of descent. Perfect. Let's check the weather once again in Athens. It's okay. Some wind, but not really strong. Few clouds, good visibility, 18 degrees Celsius, so the weather looks okay. We should have some really nice view during our approach and landing later on in Athens. Okay, I'm going to switch it off, and 6 miles until our top of descent. As I said, it's a fairly short flight. The expected flight time was 1 hour and 4 minutes. Or let's actually check it once again. 1 hour 3 minutes, it was our expected flight time. I assume it's going to be something like this. Probably in the real life we would get some kind of shortcut here during our approach, but since there is no online ATC today, we are just going to follow the full standard arrival and then standard ILS. Okay, we have passed the top of descent, so let's... Yeah. So I was distracted a little bit telling you about, and we have passed our top of descent, but that's okay. In the worst case scenario, we'll just increase our speed a little bit and then we should catch up with the profile, or as always, the speed brakes are available, so we can also use it. But let's see how it will pan out. Beautiful view, lovely weather. I wished the weather would be so nice in a place where I live, but unfortunately at this time of the year it's rather cloudy and around 2 or 3 degrees Celsius. So not so nice really. Okay. Seems that the plane itself is trying to catch up with the profile. We will help it in a while, but we're still quite okay. Once we'll get lower, we can always increase the speed a little bit, and it should give us a higher rate of descent. thus we should catch up with our profile soon. Or as I said, the speed brakes are always available, so we can also use it, always use it. To be completely honest, I cannot decide if the new SIM 2024 works better for me than 2020. I believe 2020 works better. I have a I have really fast internet connection and stable, almost 1 giga. So I'm not really sure why the terrain here looks so blurry. Probably it's maybe because of my LOD settings are not so really high. I have my LOD at 100, but that was the recommended setting from the NVIDIA app. So probably this is the reason. I mean, my GPU is not really so strong. I'm having a 4070 Ti, and I'm running for 4K. So probably this is the reason. If you have any thoughts or like advices, please feel free to leave a comment. This sim is still fairly new to me, and I'm trying to figure out what are the best graphics settings in order to have the best quality of image, but also the actually best performance. I'm really curious. I'm waiting actually for the new NVIDIA GPU cards to be available, and then maybe I will upgrade my PC and have some better performance, but we will see. But if you have, like I said, if you have any thoughts about it, please feel free to leave a comment. Or maybe you have some recommended settings and could recommend, because maybe I could increase the LOD a little bit and then tune down some other settings, and still I wouldn't sacrifice in terms of performance, but then the quality of image or of like what I see outside would be better. Okay, so we have to catch up in the profile. We are a little bit too fast, but that's okay. I've got the impression that we are like bouncing a little bit up and down, so probably I'll just like turn on the seatbelt signs on. Okay, just to make sure that our passengers are safe. I'm not sure if it's the new turbulence effects implemented in the new simulator, or it's the way how the plane actually follows the profile. We will see. Okay, I think we can set already 5,000 feet, and in the meantime I will also check on my iPad, is there any traffic on the VATSIM around Athens, so I will make sure in case I need to make any announcements. Nope. Okay. There are some planes sitting on the tarmac, but other than that, no one is actually approaching Athens. Yeah, so we are good to go. You know what? In other circumstances, I would probably try to do some shortcut. But I believe this arrival here is actually designed to avoid the terrain on our approach. So yes, and yes. So actually, I mean, yeah, I would just like stick to our standard arrival procedure just to make sure that we are on the safe side, and we'll just like follow the standard route. Okay, flight level 200. Here is the airport in Athens. Really beautiful weather today in Athens. Almost no clouds and sun. And I think I could live with 18 degrees in January. I wouldn't complain too much, to being completely honest. I really like flying to Athens during the VATSIM event. They having, I believe, every Friday evening event where you can expect Athens to be fully staffed. And I really enjoy it, but unfortunately due to the real life commitments I was not able to make this video during the event, but maybe next time we will see. As you can probably see, I'm using the DLSS for anti-aliasing. That's why sometimes the numbers are a little bit blurred, but like I said, with my GPU, it's the only way to go. Without it, I would probably have like 30 or 35 frames per second. So it wouldn't be a really like smooth simulation. Flight level 150, let me remind. I will already set the QNH. So QNH was 1016 on a standby. Okay, 1016. Okay, and we'll set it later on. Oh yes, now you can see all perks of using the DLSS. But hey, I can still read the display, right? Can I? Can I? So I assume I shouldn't complain. Okay, as you can see, we are back on profile, so speed has settled down, so we are exactly at our target speed, and we are at our targeted descent profile, so there was no really need to use the speed brakes. Probably has something with the wind change, because here we had a quite strong tailwind, and now the wind has changed the direction, and we are even having some headwind. As you can see, our true speed is 311 and the ground speed is 306, so which means we are having 4 knots of headwind. It's not much, but seems it's enough to slow us down to be exactly where we want to be. Okay, The next constraint is 4,000 feet or above, so we can go down to 4,000 feet.
Traffic from Malpi to 25, exactly 25.21 left.
Okay, let's once again check on iPad if there's any traffic. Okay, there is one traffic, so I believe I'm going to make the announcement. Okay. 7 minutes. Okay. Flight level 100, so let's turn on the landing lights on. And we can detune the guards from here. Actually, we're not listening to it anyway. Sorry, my mistake. Okay, the landing lights are on. Let's make the announcement. You know what, I forgot our flight plan, so our flight number and call sign. Okay. Athens traffic Wizz Malta 99931, passing flight level 900 and for ILS 21 right, expecting landing in about 4 minutes. Okay, so let's set the QNH. So the QNH was 1016 and make the 1016 and approach checklist. So bar ref 1016, okay. Seatbelts are on. Minimums are 558 feet. Let's double check. Yes. Okay. Auto brake low set. Engine mode selector is normal. Okay. Let's see if we can, because I see there's some other plane approaching.
Athens traffic GM6, India Mike, taxi to holding point, runway 21 left, Athens traffic.
Okay, there was a traffic on the runway. So we are approaching Alpha Victor 562. We could probably, yeah, okay, we need to overflight these points anyway, so let's look at the chart. Yes, so not really.
And Athens traffic from Malpi 225 via Delta 11, landing up and departing runway 21 left, Athens.
Okay, there's some departure. Speed 220. I'm going to increase the speed a little bit because there is another guy and he will be so just to make sure he will get some separation from us. And I think we can set already 3,000 feet. And let's look here. Okay. Let's try and make a shortcut to Alpha Whiskey 522. We are actually with visual contact with the ground, so I mean with the terrain, so it should
Athens traffic Aegean 273, expecting ILS X-ray to 1 left, direct to Alpha Victor 542 and 3,000 feet now.
He's going for 2-1 left, and I'm going
Traffic
for
M1
2-1 right.
225 departing to 1 left.
Okay. Athens traffic, Wizz Malta 9931, direct to Alpha Victor 522 for ILS 21 right, leaving 4,500 for 3,000. Okay, let's now is the time to slow down. Okay, the guy is going for 2-1 left anyway, so it's okay. And he is behind us, so okay, let's turn. Okay, 1105-212. We still probably need to 11. Sorry, I'm used to Phoenix, where you don't need to actually. It's interesting that I cannot. So 1105, 110.5. Okay. 0.5. Okay, and it's 212.
The traffic from LP 225 airborne passing 2,000 feet on the Corinthos 1 November departure.
Okay, so 3,000. And okay, lock. So let's make that. No, we want to slow down. Okay, flaps 1 speed check. Let's activate the approach phase. Confirm. Okay, and bring the speed down all the way to 180. Flaps 2 speed checked. Okay, we have India Victor Romeo 212, so perfect. We have the correct ILS. Tune in. Okay, I'm going to close down the chart. Approach. Okay, and all right. So glide slope star. It's a little bit messy approach. Okay, let's turn on the ground altitude. Slow down to 160. We have flaps 2 selected. Gear down. Okay. Athens traffic, Wizz Malta 99931, ILS 21 right, 7 miles. Okay, so 160 until 4. And we can select flaps 3, speed checked. Okay, and what about, okay, so turn and make sure our ground spoilers are armed. Okay, perfect. So the missile approach altitude
Athens traffic at GM 6 India Mike, taking off runway 21 left, Athens traffic.
So now I'm going to switch again the Toby eye tracker. That's a little bit better this way for landing. Okay, so we can flaps full speed checked. We are not going to be fully stabilized at 1,000 feet because I have selected the flights, the flaps are a little bit late, but since we are in VMC, they also normalized that allowed to be stabilized at 500 feet above ground, so it should be all good. Okay, landing, the cabin was still not checked, but let's assume they are going to do it. Other than that, the landing checklist should be completed.
400.
Okay, I'm going to disconnect the autopilot and fly the... Okay, so now landing, no blue. We are descending also. Correcting.
Glide slope.
Yeah, I know we are below the glide slope and
Minimum.
I'm
Glide
correcting.
slope.
200.
Athens traffic, the GM
Glide slope.
1 Alpha, 30 track miles,
Glide slope.
100.
Athens traffic.
It's interesting, I'm going to be...
50.
Okay,
40.
landing.
30. 20. Retard. 10. Retard. Retard.
Alright, so reverse and speed brakes and decel. Let's get back to the runway center line. Okay. 60 knots and manual braking.
Athens traffic, Aegean 273, short file runway 21 right.
Let's... Okay. I'm not going to announce that we have vacated the runway until we are going to do it. So let's switch off the lights. Let's engage. Okay, and we can take the first left. As soon as we are going to cross the line, I'm going to announce that we have Athens traffic, Wizz Malta 99931, runway 21 right vacated. So let's bring up the chart, and our planned taxi level was actually left, then right. It's the airport chart, yes, so all the way here and right into the hotel. Okay. So Alpha 7 and then right into hotel. Okay, let's make sure we can actually turn off the transponder. Stand by, perfect. And disable the predicted wheelchair warning, turn it off. Okay, and we can, and we can do the after landing checklist. So after landing, radar and predicted wheelchair warning is off and is off. Okay. And we haven't stopped the chrono. Okay, we have stopped the chrono now. Okay. We could probably speed up a little bit our taxi. Okay, Alpha 7 to the right, so let's bring up the chart. Yes, Alpha 7 to the right and then to the hotel and then Golf and so far from. I'm going to use the GSX and select our stand as we are going to closer to the airport. Let's change the type of chart so we can see the grounds actually. Okay, I'm not need to slow down to around 20 knots, so this is like really tight turn. And clear on the right. Okay, perfect. Yeah, okay. I'm going to close it and just like use my iPad. Sorry, it's way convenient for me this way, just to bring up, look up the stand number. Okay. So I'll be looking for Alpha 41 or Alpha. Okay, Alpha 43. Let's speed up a little bit the taxi, not to block the traffic. Once again, change the type of the map. Okay, so we'll be taxiing straight ahead hotel, then right into golf, left golf, and our stand Alpha for free should be somewhere over here. Okay, we can bring back the thrust to idle. We are doing 24 knots, so we are not blocking the traffic anymore. And Athens traffic with a Malta 9931 taxi by hotel, right golf to stand Alpha for 1. I will take Alpha for 1 because I can see there is a some plane on Alpha 45, so I'm not exactly sure about our wing tip clearance. Okay, I need to slow down and brake hard because we need to actually turn right here. Okay. Yeah, okay, it's Airbus 380, so we'll be parking over there. So I believe it's just better to take one stand farther away from the aircraft, not exactly next to it. Okay, let's use our lovely GSX, Sofa apron, and Alpha for 1. Perfect. We need to follow me. Yes, let's bid. I have no idea who is the handler for Wizz in Athens, so I just selected something that came first to my mind, but if you do know, please feel free to share it in the comments. Okay, I'm going to start the APU as soon as we'll make the turn, just to reduce the workload a little bit during approaching the stand. So, and I'm going to slow down as well, 11 knots. Okay, let's slow down.
Athens traffic, GM 891 Alpha, 10 track miles to landing 21 right. Athens
Okay,
traffic.
let's start the APU. It's not going to be a long taxi, so we can start it now. Okay, and start. All right, and stand Alpha for 1. So we still have, this is Alpha for 7. Okay, the guy has just vanished, but that's okay. Anyway, Alpha for 1 is Alpha for 5. Next is Alpha for 3, and the next one. So here is Alpha for 1, which is our stand. The marshal is already on the stand. Okay. So, okay, let's slow down as we are approaching the stand. Okay, and yeah, we are turning the stand, so runway turn off lights off and taxi lights off. I sometimes wonder, is it easier to taxi the aircraft, I mean the airliner in a real life than it is in a sim, because in a sim, to be honest, I really struggle to follow the center line. Like I said, I don't have a lot of real world flying experience, just with some of general aviation aircraft, but then you are sitting much closer to the tarmac, and it's definitely easier to follow the lines. I also have some doubts if actually the GSX profile for this airport is perfect okay, but okay, I'm just going to stick to Marshall advices. Okay, and okay, so parking brake is set. All right, so we are at the stand. APU is available. Let's turn the APU bleed on, and we can turn off the engines. Okay, so we can turn off the seatbelt signs off, and we can turn the beacon light off as well. Okay, so parking checklist. Parking brakes or chocks are set, engines are off, wing lights they are off, and the last thing remaining is actually to switch off the fuel pumps, and they are off. Let's ask, well, probably that wasn't the best parking, but okay, it is what it is. Let's ask for the deboarding.
The boarding requested.
And that's it. Okay. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you have enjoyed the flight with me today. I will really appreciate if you can leave a comment. What do you think? If you would like to see some other destinations, or maybe some other planes, or maybe the other simulator, 2020, please feel free to write it in a comment. Wish you a great day. Once again, thank you for watching. Bye.